I'm just gonna pull a card really quick because I feel like I should. I have vulnerability. Okay, listen to your vulnerable feelings as they contain wisdom and inspiration, and then pray for strength to focus on your priorities, no matter what. This is probably a message for me. Okay, but the strange thing is at the bottom of the deck, and then I have media. Okay. So Mother Mary is at the bottom of the deck. I don't know how Epstein is related to Christianity, or more so Catholicism. I think there's a connection to Catholicism because before I turned the camera on, I was being drawn to the Pope. I kept thinking about the Pope and I was like, there's a connection there. And then I started kind of like second guessing myself or telling myself that, I don't know. I was just like, we'll see. And then it came up again. There's a connection to biblical times, ancient times, and also Catholicism with regards to Epstein and something here. Okay, it could even be the Catholic Church itself and the structures within the Catholic Church, right? The system. And I keep hearing beast system. The beast system, I think, is obviously irregardless of what's going on with the structure of the Catholic religion, not necessarily the religion, but just the Vatican itself and everything that's entailed, right? Any sort of potential criminal organization. Not saying that there is, I'm saying anything that could be related, right? In some other way, if I'm making sense. I probably anyway. Where was I going with that? Oh, because again, with the spirituality and being so close to God, with any religion, the beast system is going to be ingrained within it, right? It's going to always be this dynamic where the more holy you are, the more that evil will try and prevail, like the strength of evil. Actually, you guys, for those of you who are not aware of this, a lot of you are aware of this. Some of you who are watching this will probably be involved in this, and I'm just going to be calling you out on it. A lot of people who are close to religion, pay attention to the people that are in your churches. Pay attention to the people who are gravitating towards these things, who work within these communities, within religious school systems. A lot of times they are intentionally there with bad intentions. Because I want to get in, like, it's almost like a passageway, right? It's a spiritual passageway because of an enlightened system, which I've said before, we're going towards an age of awakening, not an age of enlightenment. But through awakening, that means that the veil between this world and other worlds, the spiritual world, is thinner. You can cross through a lot better when you're enlightened, or when you're when you're connected to those areas in some way. Am I making sense? Probably kind of, sort of. I'm skipping a lot. But anyway, so they're involved in that so that they can kind of like, it's like kind of knowing it's knowing your enemy, but in a different way. Not relating to the Maxwell thing, but it's getting close to them so that you can understand the way that they operate in order to manipulate them, in order to use it against them, in order to act like you're a part of them. So again, it's not the same thing, because the person that was involved in the Maxwell reading, I feel like they were a good balance. I think that it's very much what I interpret as an alpha male, in the sense that they are grounded to a big degree, egotistical in a big degree, like very masculine in a lot of ways. And having that masculinity allows them to use that competitive edge in order to work towards something positive, right? So that's kind of the situation that I see here. Or there, I'm sorry. The thing I'm talking about here, I don't have to explain myself. I think you guys understand what I'm talking about. And if you don't, that's okay too. It's probably not too important. Okay, so Epstein. The thing is okay, so I'm aware that he was imprisoned and then allegedly died. Like, I think they put someone in his cell and killed him. And then there were pictures of his body, something like that. Again, this is actually out of character for me because I'm someone who loves to investigate. Like, mentally, I just want to just rip everything apart and figure out what's going on with everything. I don't normally, you know, but sometimes I do. And with this, I didn't, which is, it's like right up my alley, I guess. But I didn't do it. I didn't do it in my spare time. And, yeah. So, but when I heard the news of him being eliminated, I was like, huh, that's strange, because why would they do that? It would just be like an escape, right? Like, it would just be sneaking him out, and it's just like the whole conspiracy that seems like an obvious conspiracy. And then even him being arrested to begin with, I'm like, why would they even do that? Like, you don't even have to do, you don't. They can find a workaround about it. What I see, and I can't tell, honestly, because it feels, again, like my brain just feels like it's on fire, so I can't distinguish between this being my hypothesis, or this is something that I'm psychically gathering, or if I'm supposed to hypothesize about it. I'm not sure. But basically what I'm seeing is that the whole reason for his arrest originally was that whatever was going on with breaking the system down, the beast system down, it was working. And so then because it was working, there was this, it's almost like they thought that if they allowed this to happen, they were going to go with it. It's like kind of like give an inch and then take a foot away. So they were kind of going along with it to manipulate it into making it seem like it was working, and then taking it all back and more taking with. And it ended up not working that way. It ended up not working in the way that they had planned, because I feel like he did die. Because he feels dead to me. I would be surprised if he's still alive. But again, like, that's not to say that I'm accurate on that or not. But it feels like he's dead. I think there would have been a plan to have released him in some way. Maybe not. I think they were still in decision mode, and then he ended up getting killed. I want to go back again. I want to backtrack again and say, when he was arrested, part of it was a psychological attack on the public and on the people involved. It was multi-layered. So the people that are, like, let's say agents, secret agents, or whoever's involved, like different authorities that are involved that are not out in the public, it was supposed to be in a psychological war against them, where they feel like they're getting ahead of the game, that they're winning, essentially. And yet, it's an illusion, right? And then with the public, it's again what I've talked about with evil, and it requires your free will in order for them to conduct what they want to conduct. So by putting him in jail and saying all the things that he's done, or having it been released or available, and no further investigation involved, you're kind of throwing him under the rug. But that would be in quotations, because he wouldn't necessarily be thrown under the rug, because they would have released him in some way. It's kind of where they were going, but again, it wasn't fully decided. They didn't get to that point yet. But it would allow the free will of the people to basically say, okay, whoever is in charge is in charge. We're not going to take a stance on it, right? It's not like there's this huge, like, protest going on. demands of investigation of everything and an upheaval of all the systems that's involved, because I feel like taking care of Epstein would help not dismantling the entire system of the world. It feels like the whole global system. And this is like the working parts. It's like the nuts and bolts. And it's like, oh, you better not take that nut and bolt off because everything else is going to dismantle. And so let's just replace it, right? Like that's kind of, he's the nut and bolt. He's like he's holding it together, but he's like a small part of it, right? And just kind of like work. Anyway, so that's what I'm seeing. Okay. And then, so him dying, I feel like that was a message. It's not only to Maxwell, because I feel like Maxwell is absolutely devastated. I feel like she's absolutely torn to pieces about that. And it feels very humorous to whoever was responsible for this. It's almost like a big joke to them. Like a loss of life to the people who killed him is a big joke. Okay, so it's almost like putting a bulldog into a room with a chicken. That's a really weird analogy, but like that's what I'm seeing, is like putting a dog in a room with a chicken, and then the dog obviously destroys the chicken. So they knew that was going to happen. So they put the person in there knowing that was going to happen, because that person doesn't like him, doesn't respect him, and also gets off on that. Yeah. So then there's like other people though. I feel I need to clear this space. Okay. So basically what I'm feeling is like here. Epstein, bulldog, he's the chicken. The bulldog's the guy who killed him. And it feels vast. It feels vast. Freeing. Like their energy. It's not that there's a lot of them. There very well could be, but their energy feels free. So in essence, I feel like they're more evolved, like good people, I would say, like a standard good person, because their energy is so expansive. But as a human being like me, I'm like, well, yeah, but a good person wouldn't do that. But I guess that's me putting judgment on the circumstances when I don't even know the full situation. And it would be hard anyway. They feel expansive, and it feels like I'm getting an analogy of a serpent again. But this time I'm seeing it as a sword through a serpent. A sword through a serpent. And when they pierce the sword into the serpent turns to stone. It's as if it was a spell, and the spell brought life to this serpent. Like gargoyles. And it like brought life to a gargoyle, but it's a snake. And I'm seeing like a crown. I'm seeing a crown. The snake, and I'm seeing a crown. It's like the snake is wearing a crown, and then the snake is forming into like a reptile. I'm just laughing. I'm sorry, I'm getting loud. I'm just laughing because it's like the reptilians, and I think I mentioned that on another, I don't remember where I mentioned it, but I don't even know if that was one of the released videos or not. It might not have been, but it's just making me laugh because I'm seeing it's like I didn't imagine to see this. I did not imagine this reading to go this way. But it's this serpent wearing a crown. And it reminds me of the Queen of England. And then it's like all of these, what everyone, not everyone, but like people have said before. And it's, but I don't know if it was in connection with this. I just know that that's things that people have said. But it's connected to this. But I've never actually in my head seen it. And it's like a funny image because it's a reptile. Hi. It's reminding me of, it's very much in line with, so the person, if you watch the Maxwell video, and the person that I said I remembered when I was thinking about, or when I was speaking about evil, and what they had figured out when they passed. Actually, they figured out when they were alive, and then they had passed away, and it verified everything. So they already knew. Anyway, and they're connected. They're deeply connected in this. And that's an obvious for me. Wow. I don't know what to do. I'm hearing to take a higher perspective. Maybe I'm energetically lost. Because I feel like I just kind of threw myself into oblivion, and now I'm like by myself. I untethered myself from my guardian angels, from everyone, from everything. I feel very alone. It's very strange. Okay. Let me take a break then. And then, yeah, let me just sit here for a couple seconds. Okay. I almost feel like I already said everything that I needed to say, but I don't think I said much, so I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny. Again, it's those videos, it's connection to everything and what they're doing and how they're, I don't know if I should say it out loud, but anyway. Keepers of the earth, you are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. I believe this was also in her reading. Yes, just say yes. It just, and then the bottom says no. Oh my gosh. They're so, it's a good challenge. I love a challenge. I definitely love a challenge. So that part's super exciting for me. Like on a personal level, but it's like effortless. Like, I feel like, for me personally, this is kind of like a message for me where it's like you're playing with fire, you know, like you, almost like a threat, you know, like, oh, you're playing with fire. Like, you don't know what you're coming up against, because it's effortless for them, right? Like, they're just so used to this, it's almost effortless. And so, because this is ancient, like ancient ancestors, this is very ancient, what they're doing. what they're involved in, who they are is long-standing energies, right? And I'm seeing a beetle. I'm seeing a beetle in my head. Okay, this is the thing. This is what I see. I'm being... It's making me laugh because I'm being blocked so much. And with him, it feels the way that he blocks, the way that his energy blocks is by invisibility. It feels like it's like energetic invisibility because it's so low energy, and he has this ability to move fast, energetically move really, really fast. And so I'm not trying to catch him or catch up to him, because I'm just trying to observe. And so through observing, it's very just like speeding through, I don't even know where, like just speeding through everywhere. And it's almost like this, like there's a part of me that feels insecure where, and this is me, this is not me picking up on his energy. It's the insecurity of saying, well, I don't really want to admit to that because then it makes me appear weak, or it makes me feel weak. But at the same time, like, I want to be honest, and, you know, even if that's admitting fault or admitting weaknesses to anyone who has, no one like them has this ability. There's a select people who have this ability, select few people who have this ability. And so admitting that is kind of like showing my cards, but not necessarily, because I think the strength comes through by allowing like what it was saying before, like allowing vulnerability, and just kind of being honest. I have to stay honest. Otherwise I'll trip up, is kind of how I feel. That's kind of my moral, now I'm talking about moral dilemma again, but that's kind of where I'm at. Where I feel like the right thing to do is to be transparent with that. I'm also being drawn to Marina. For those of you who know, the spirit cooking and the connections, there's connection there. There's a feeling of bitterness from Maxwell towards Marina, and resentment, anger, jealousy, frustration, and blame. She's putting a lot of blame towards her. And Epstein is a third party in this. I'm not sure how he's involved. He feels kind of like an outsider observing this, but I see this dynamic of the two of them going head to head, and then there's also a third person that's equally as involved in that kind of rank, that they're all fighting over him in a way. Or fighting for his attention. It's mostly Maxwell wanting the attention, but again, it's this competition because Epstein wants, it's this power, it's almost like a hypnotism, like, over women of this kind. And with Marina, what I'm seeing is how dysfunctional and flip-flop she is as well. She's very, very dysfunctional because she is insecure. She's insecure, and the an example that I'm seeing is how someone who is unpopular, and then the popular people know that they're desperate, so then they take advantage of them by feeding them compliments in order for them to do what they want them to do. And so that's where Marina comes in, where she's completely at other people's beck and call because there's a desperation. It's like a heavy, it's almost like the word I'm getting is like must. It's like a musty desperation. Like misty and musty, like just in the air is so heavy of desperation for people to approve of her and like her and to involve her. And then it's pulling me towards like just a lot of different stuff that's, I mean, this whole thing that is involved here is global. It's the entire system of the world and how everything operates. And so what I have a lot of questions now, but I guess that would just overwhelm even me. So basically what I see is it being this situation where Epstein feels like energetically, and everyone that is involved, is nothing will come of this as far as like the takedown or a switch, because they have this perception that they're already in world domination. That's what they feel. And it's actually what you're not realizing. Now I'm switching as if I'm talking to them. You don't know this. You don't know this. You are blind to this. You are extremely blind to this. You're extremely scared. I feel extreme fear of predicting what I'm gonna say. When I go back to that volatility card, I feel like this is multi reasons or answers or whatever, because to me it's an empty threat, and I feel like anything that you do to create, it's an empty threat in the sense that anything that you do against the goodwill of the people will create signs that will sabotage what you are trying to hold on to. So it's actually working against you. Every time you do something that you think that you're going to get an edge back, it's slipping, it's slipping, it's slipping. And what seems to be happening right now in the world is a lot of these smaller earthquakes. Like the tremors, alarming people to the fact that there's going to be a huge explosion. And we're all like scattering, panicking, freaking out. There's a lot of tension in the world. A lot of tension. And you can't cover up a volcano, right? Like you can't stop a volcano. And basically what I'm saying is it's inevitable. The change that's happening globally, we're in the thick of it right now. We're in the mix of volatility, and what comes out at the end of this is going to be what I see as being peaceful. I see peace, like world peace. I don't think the plan's working. I don't think the plan's going to work. And that's causing a lot of panic. So what I see is what's going on with everyone surrounding you, Epstein. Because I stopped because I'm asking, like, where are you? Even energetically, like, where are you? And it feels like you're here. Like, it definitely feels like you're, it feels like you're trying to get through, but no one cares. Like, I think the reality sank in for you energetically that no one cares about you. And so now no one's listening to you. Like, you have no value. Like, as you passed, you realize you have no value in the world. I know that sounds like really harsh and really horrible, but it was like you were a pawn. You were being used, and you served your purpose, and now that's it. So if you come back, when you come back, whatever's going on, they'll just do it again. They'll just use you again. And Maxwell, who I'm thinking is probably your counterpart, is devastated, is absolutely in pieces, because, I mean, sucks. I mean, it sucks. Despite all of the stuff that you've done, both of you have done. But anyway, and now I see there's a big face in here. There's a big face. I've never noticed that until just now. That's creepy. In a good way. Anyway. Yeah, so what I saw, like, they were coming in droves is what I saw, is like a lot of elevated beings. And so there are a lot of elevated beings on this earth as people who are knowingly or unknowingly working towards the betterment of the world. And there are also a lot of light beings, like spirits, that are surrounding and observing and watching Earth right now, and working to, it's like an unbraiding. It's like with this tight knot, this tight braid of lower beliefs, lower energies. They're trying to untangle so that can be released. And what I'm seeing here since that time of recording, so July through September, it seems as if their plan, a dark plan, is not working. It's being revealed. It's being undone. And I think there's going to be a lot of pain and suffering, like world pain and suffering. Through this, especially for a lot of people who are kind of refusing to understand and open up to these truths and take a stance when appropriate. I would say also to the person from the Maxwell reading, there's advice for them, like the person who wanted to uncover this, to hang on, to keep going, don't give up. I don't think that they plan on it. I think that they are also equally excited about this and committed in their own way. I don't know. It seems very good for them, promising for them, a promising future for them. I know this is supposed to be about Epstein, and it is, but it seems to involve so much more. The accuracy of this, I'm going to be honest, I literally have no idea. I didn't expect it to take this direction, and I mean, I have my own thoughts that I don't want to really speak about, I guess, because it involves other stuff that I don't know. Yeah. It's like, I just saw it in here. This volcano keeps showing up to me. And what I feel is this temptation. It's a seductive quality. It's not in a sexual way, but it's like trying to seduce me and to seduce people into having a big reaction. Now, if that's your personality, if you are like an alpha person or expressive like that, by all means, but at the same time staying true to yourself and staying balanced, and also recognizing where that passion comes from, right? Don't act out in anger, because it's still energetically the same, right? Like, even if you're angry towards these people, that's still energetically anger, right? Like, you have to come from a more honorable and godly place, right? A place of understanding, a place of peace, a place of healing, a place of that unwinding of the energies in order to build people up. That's not to enable them. That's not to say that what they're doing is okay. But it's also coming from a place of recognizing that we all serve a purpose. We're all on different paths. I don't know what to really say, because I didn't, like, even with Epstein, I didn't really get into him as a person or him as a soul. And I'm not going to force it, because I don't feel like that's where I was guided towards. But I don't feel like it was hiding. It feels like he feels like a child to me. You know, when I say energetically, he's going around fast. And it feels like a little boy who wants attention, you know, or it's misguided energy. It's misguided energy, and he doesn't even really realize he wants attention. He's just running around trying to expel this energy, expel this tension that he has of wanting something that he can't even understand, because he hasn't been explained that part of him. No one explained to him, because he's never received attention, so how is he supposed to know that that's what he desires? Recognizing that he's looking for attention, recognizing, like, being intuitive of what he really needs and desires and requires as a soul, which is love. He needs love. He's absent of love. He has none of that. No one has shown him that. I mean, that has to be the worst, one of the worst feelings, is to feel a sense of importance and then realize that it was nothing, right? Like that's terrible. Again, this is ignoring everything. But yeah, so just it's like allowing karma to run its course. We have completion right here. It's completing. All of this is completing. This cycle of energetic depravity that we've had, you know, this time, this period of time from, I don't know, the 1900s until now or something, like, or mid 1800s, I don't know. It's a period of darkness that we've been in, and it's completing. The cycle is completing. It's turning. And I mean, it can go both ways, but and this can change. Again, it can change. That's probably what they want to hear. It can change. That is true. But the way that I'm seeing it today, December 9th, I believe, this is where it's at. It's heading towards a truly enlightened period. Because these people, whoever back behind the scenes, have not given up, and they've been working overtime. They've been working very, 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 very hard. And so all the people who are just walking around like zombies, completely oblivious to this kind of stuff and couldn't give two craps about it, are actually being helped. They don't even know they're being helped. And so God bless them. But anyway, God bless everyone, but I was saying God bless the people behind the scenes. But yeah, with Epstein, it's like to tame him, allow him to just be that. Don't give him power. Like, allow him to be harmless. He was harmful because people allowed him to be harmful. But now he is a soul. He is running around. He is roaming. In reality, when we look at everything and when we look at this experience, our life experience, for what it is, which is just a tiny blip of our soul, and it's almost like I don't know if I've compared it before, but it's like a fingernail. Like, we have all other experiences simultaneously happening that are even grander than this. This is just a small little piece. Anyway, looking at it like that, then in a way, we can look at how harmless this can potentially be viewed as, which is very difficult even for me, knowing the things. But again, besides all that, let him come to us. Like, that's the spiritual thing. And so when we tie this into Maxwell needs him. If we were to assume that that's the counterpart, which I think that is, in order for that, and if she ever heard this, she would, but this would probably make her feel over the moon. It would make her feel complete and recognized. But he has to come to this conclusion on his own. He has to feel guided. He has to feel safe. He has to. It's like, basically what I was going to say with taming a wild horse, instead of pinning it into a circle and running around into submission where it just kind of obeys and kind of just deals with the circumstances and then the psyche is changed, it's allowing him to roam free and then by choice decide, hey, this looks like an interesting situation. Let me investigate it. Let me see what this is all about. Let me just try it out. And then actually recognizing and realizing, I want this. This feels safe. This feels good. This feels wonderful. I want to explore this more, and, you know, I'm happy here. I want to evolve here. I want to live here. Right? Instead of, because if you provide provide it with food and love and brushing and whatever it needs in order to have a very high survival rate and to feel nurtured and you know, healthy, just letting it be there. I don't know. You get the point. You get the point. You get the point. Yeah, this was all over the place. But hope this, whoever needed to hear this for whatever reason heard this, and that this somehow helps or was entertaining or whatever. I don't know. Maybe you were cleaning the house and this helped you just kind of, you know, I don't know. Okay, that's the point. That's all. I don't have anything else to say. Bye guys.